Hey guys, it's TheFrXion here with Tiger Tank 1-2, how are you gonna call me? I don't really care. Welcome back to World of Tanks. Hopefully we've all been able to absorb that shocking, I have to say, shocking news of the Tier 9 premium heavy tank that is coming to the game. But today we're going to be talking about a Tier 9 heavy tank that would have been a very funny premium tank if they would have brought it out in this kind of state that it is currently in at the moment. Talking about the Type 4 Heavy. Now, if you know a little bit about my World of Tanks history and the vehicles I prefer, I have changed quite a bit in the way that I play this game. I used to be a heavy tank driven player and also a tank destroyer driven player, but as it turns out, I much prefer now the fast and dynamic gameplay that light tanks and medium tanks provide. That is something that you cannot really get with a Type 4 Heavy. Type 4 Heavy is a tank that doesn't have the right dynamics, doesn't have the same mobility, doesn't have any of those characteristics that maybe a Object 140 has, or a Leopard 1, or even a M48 Patton, which is one of my favorite Tier 10 medium tanks, but maybe not the best at the moment. So the Type 4 Heavy, on the other hand, even though it's almost fully upgraded, all I'm lacking is the top gun. I'm currently running the 12.7 centimeter gun. I've noticed that this tank has kind of a very awkward position in the game at the moment. And I think the same goes for any super heavy tank or any super heavy Japanese vehicle especially. These tanks do not perform very well, because the meta in this game has changed to a very fast-paced, well-armored, and high DPM output kind of game. So if you do not have the fast vehicle with a little bit of armor, you're gonna be looking down the drain. So the Type 4 Heavy kind of gets completely annihilated by gold shells all over the place. You're going to be the one vehicle that collects the most gold in most of the games, because the armor is just good enough for standard shells, but not good enough for the premium ones. So basically, you're one big meat piñata. The mobility of this tank, which is about 25 kilometers top speed going forwards, and I think 17 degrees per second turn rate with your tracks, does not provide you with enough mobility to get yourself into cover when you're exposed. That is why you have the armor. But since everyone is slinging gold at you, basically you're one big target that is just a fat HP piñata. And it's really uncomfortable. It's not a fulfilling gameplay, and it's really annoying. This is the best game that I had out of 10 games I've played yesterday in my Type 4 Heavy. This tank does not give you a good example or a good kind of experience with the Japanese heavy tank tree. I do not want to go back to the place where the Japanese Tier 9 and Tier 10 heavies were extremely good with their high explosive based armaments, where they basically just had to shoot anywhere on your vehicle to do about 500-600 damage. That is not what I want, but I think that this tank certainly at the moment is one of the least liked and the least played Tier 9 tanks in the game. I have not faced a lot of Type 4 heavies. I have not played with a lot of Type 4 heavies, and the reasons are very, very evident, and you can see them in this game as well. I'm running with a very good crew. This crew has about 4 skills. I unfortunately don't have brothers in arms because I forgot to train on one of the crew, but it would be really important. The rate of fire on this tank is actually, I think, 4.2 rounds per minute. That is about a reload time of maybe 13 seconds. So basically, you have a gun that does 450 alpha, but the rate of fire is that bad that you're not going to be able to do anything. Now, the problem is, you're supposed to be able to dish out a high alpha round, a round that hurts your opponents, and at the same time, while you're reloading, your armor is going to give you the protection that you so desperately need. But since everyone is slinging high explosive anti-tank, ammunition at you, the experience that you have with this vehicle is really, really bad. I don't have the top gun yet, I don't have the top high explosive gun, but I'm pretty certain that the mobility aspect and that combined with the armor and the lack therefore, and also the very bad kind of gun handling that we have in this vehicle will not catapult this tank into any sphere of my top 10 vehicles, or I don't know, top 20. The Type 4 Heavy is a huge disappointment. I didn't expect anything from it because I have played the Oho and I have played the Oni, I've played all the Japanese heavy tanks. I think they're all kind of pretty bad, not a lot of fun. They're only effective in very certain specific scenarios where you can make them work against lower tiered opponents. Type 4 Heavy, I can say, it's probably one of the worst tech trees I've ever seen. The Japanese heavy tank tech tree is probably one of the worst. Obviously, it's completely, made up by Wargaming, and I think they've done the worst job with the Japanese heavy tanks. And I think I'm probably going to be making a video eventually on the worst and the best tank lines, and I think the Japanese heavy tank line will probably be one of the worst, while the medium tank line will probably be one of the better ones, to be fair. But yes, I've had a really bad time with the Type 4 Heavy, much worse time than I expected initially, because I thought that at least with the armor layout and with the gun that I would be able to hold certain alleys, but as soon as people see me, the heat is already loaded in. Even if you have 2000 HP, 2050, it's not going to work out for you, and it's going to be a really, really painful time playing the Type 4 Heavy. I think it's not going to get a lot better with the Type 5. I think the Type 5 has a bit of better protection, but since you're playing against tier 10 vehicles, I imagine that a lot of people still will be slinging gold rounds around, and you're not going to be enjoying it as much. But so far, I can say this is one of the worst experiences I've had in this game, and I've played this tank stock, and I'm still playing it stock because I cannot get the experience needed to finally upgrade the gun. I will get back to you guys if I do get the gun, if I do get this vehicle fully upgraded, but so far this is the worst experience I've had at tier 9 in World of Tanks. That after 10 years of playing World of Tanks. So yeah, gonna end this video. Tell me, what do you think about the Type 4 Heavy? As always, comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, have a good one.